Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Sit Down by the Fire. Assuming this is recording because I'm getting a little spinny wheel. Okay,
Yeah, we've been going
I
live
guess
for at least 10 seconds, so I'd say we're good.
I'm okay. So here I'm here with the co-host.
Hello, everybody. How's everyone doing?
Good, and today we're going to be interviewing Retro Scotty, formerly known as uh, Obsessive.
Open-minded, Open-minded Movement was my first name channel. Then it was Multi-minded Scotty. Then I decided to settle on Retro Scotty. I feel like I just answered your question almost.
Yeah, well, I was trying to remember, so you kind of filled me in. But yeah, no,
No problem.
I guess what was you. Well, what you've been on YouTube for how long right now?
I'd say since March of 2016, believe it or not.
Yeah, and I mean I've been on since 2020, and so Eric is the oldest person on YouTube here.
Yeah, I've been on YouTube since April 19th, 2009. Ironically, the day before 420. Now
Yeah,
that is funny.
there you go. So you and like I think all of us have our inspirations on YouTube. Like who inspired you to make a YouTube channel?
Well, I guess I'll be honest. Believe it or not, I believe it was Ramble Raft for Life and OCP Communications because whatever reason, I've always watched their reviews and their rants, and they were definitely entertaining. But it seemed like there would also be a little more in depth on what they were talking about in terms of film, in terms of the script and all the any kind of technical aspects about film that they would touch upon, especially Mike OCP. He seems to be really more in depth about that and still is to this day. So,
Yeah, they're definitely on my list that inspired me. Um, I think, I mean, they were around when you were around, Eric, but I think you more saw them later on, right?
I did. I discovered Rambo Raft around 2010. But yeah, I especially started watching him in 2011. But yeah, and then OCP Communications, I didn't discover him till like 2015 or 2014. Yeah, no way, it was 2014 actually. I found OCP Communications because of his rant on the Howling 4, the original Nightmare. So,
Yeah.
not the best Howling movie.
No.
it certainly wasn't the worst one. I think we all know what that one is.
Yeah, definitely not the worst one, but not the best either.
It's the worst one was probably I would say, what's the last one they made? Halloween Reborn.
The Howling
No,
Reborn.
that would be New Moon Rising that I'm thinking of.
There also was New Moon Rising, which
It's the one with Lindsay Shaw, the girl from Ned's Declassified. I would say it's the worst one. But I mean, so one of the things I remember about your open-minded movie man is you had that awesome fedora that you would wear in early videos.
I still have it.
Well, you should. So I guess one of the questions is, when are you going to bring that back? Because that was kind of like your signature, I would say.
I don't know when I'm going to bring it back. To be honest, I feel like I mean, it was interesting to wear that, but I felt like maybe I didn't need it. And if I do decide to wear a hat, maybe I can always wear an Indiana Jones hat. But is that what you wear? To be honest.
No, I just wear a cowboy hat, and I just mainly just wear a cowboy hat. Indiana Jones just has a fedora, so.
Yeah, and that cowboy hat was the same hat that you used for your cameo in my first movie, actually.
Yeah, well, that's kind of just my signature thing on YouTube. For a while, I wore a cowboy hat mainly just because a lot of other,
excuse me.
A lot of other people, like they wore, baseball caps, or like you, Scotty, you wore fedoras, or they wore sunglasses, and I just kind of wanted to stick out. So I still have that. I wear that cowboy hat occasionally, but the problem is like it just is really hot, you know. But I think you and Rambo Rap and OSP Communications kind of like the same movies. Like, what are some of your what's your top 5 favorite then, Scotty?
What? Can you repeat the question? What were you asking specifically?
Sorry, what are some of your top 5 favorite movies? Like, what's your number one and all that stuff?
Oh boy, that's going to be a tough one. I feel like number one, they're both going to be tied. I'm going to say probably Terminator 2 or Aliens were definitely my favorites, especially at a young age. Believe that's Matt's favorite film. I would say, if not number one, number two, I'd say. I think he likes the first Terminator better than the second one. From what
right, I think his favorite is actually Hard Target.
Oh, it's Hard Target. Okay.
Yeah, and by his name, he's also clearly a big Rambo fan. So.
Right. So.
Yeah.
So what are some others then?
Oh boy, here we go. Aaron to really think about this one. I'm trying to remember what was really considered 5 stars in my eyes and still is to this day. This is gonna be a tough one. I'm sorry, I'm really having to think here.
Oh, you're okay. Yeah, you're okay.
I was gonna say maybe, I guess, like if there was a top 5, I'd say, I don't know, Predator 2 would be another one. I know it's unbelievable, but that's the most.
I like Predator 2. I mean, I think
I've only seen Predator 1, so I can't comment on Predator 2.
In some ways, I think Predator 2 is controversial. I think it's better than the first one just because Danny Glover, the journey that he goes on, and he's kind of a better, he's a better character than Arnold. I mean, Arnold is just essentially Arnold is just playing Arnold, right? Come on.
Yeah, pretty much.
But Danny Glover goes on this, like, I'm not going to say emotional, but like this journey, and I think that's what I appreciate about it. That's 3. Number 4?
So 2 more that I can think of. Well, let's see. Oh boy. Trying to think of it off the top of my head. You know what? I'm going to say the first RoboCop because I remember I got that movie as a kid. I got my first R-rated movie when I was like 7 or 8 years old.
Right.
What's with the wind? I keep hearing wind.
I think that's on your end.
That's my fan. I can't turn it off.
No worries. I'm guessing it's hot because I have.
It is, yeah. We had to be in summer, so.
Yeah, before I left for the grocery store, it was like 102 in my car, and this is still at night.
Yeah. So
it's sizzling down here.
I do like RoboCop, though. I mean, that is. I like it's an action movie, but it's also in some ways kind of a parody.
In some ways, yeah. And heck, I even think RoboCop 2 is a pretty underrated film as well.
Oh yeah, definitely. Controversial opinion, I actually kind of like RoboCop 3.
I remember I saw it as a kid, but I haven't seen it in a long time, so my memory's really vague on it.
Yeah, I'll even admit RoboCop 3 is not that bad. It's not perfect, but I certainly will watch it over the reboot. So.
Yeah, the remake. I remember I saw that in theaters, and if they just would have kept with that silver suit, that would have been fine. But the black suit, that
Yeah,
was unnecessary.
I think they were
It
trying
was,
to do like a different version of Iron Man or something. Just done poorly.
yeah, and
I
I'm
do
not.
agree with that.
And I don't mind Joel Kinnaman as an actor. I mean, I know that, a lot of people make fun of him, but like I didn't mind him, but he just did not fit RoboCop.
Yeah, and I know Rambo Rat for Life definitely did not like him as RoboCop.
I mean, so I don't think he's like a bad actor. I think that he actually does have talent, but like he just did not fit that role. Like, gosh, I mean, at that time, I don't know who you get as RoboCop because at that rate, I would just say you for RoboCop. I know Joel Kinnaman was an unknown, but maybe just an unknown stage actor or something,
Right, yeah. I say just getting an unknown definitely was best for RoboCop, but Michael Keaton I thought did a great job in it, but just the movie itself was just man.
Yeah. So number 5, Scotty.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to decide on. I'm trying to remember what I really liked and still like to this day.
Um, let's see. I mean,
Yeah, I just wish
you
I
want to
go ahead.
you we can just to keep it going, we can come back to the question, and maybe you could think of one later.
Yeah, maybe it might come back to me. So
Right. All right, Scotty. This is something I've been asking people just for fun lately. Okay. So Scotty, you got a nice date. You guys are going to go. You guys are having a movie night. What are you cooking for the girl?
oh, you're asking me if I'm the cook, I'm going to actually cook or something?
Yes, because you really want to impress this girl. You want movie night and maybe the big
Well, believe
gift.
it or not, I have my cooker, my homemade version of tacos. So there you go.
There you go. Tacos are always good. And so what are you going to reveal your secret taco recipe, or are you going to remain? Is that going to be a secret?
If there's a possibility she wants to be my girlfriend and we keep seeing each other, I might spill the beans on that. But
Oh, I was talking about right here. Or are you going to keep that a secret?
oh, I thought okay. It's really not much of a secret. I usually use a particular taco seasoning, and I always get the 96% ground beef, 4% fat.
There you go. All right.
And then for the seasoning, I usually use McCormick's. That's pretty much it.
There you go. All right. Nice and simple. One of the things
I used to use another. I was going to say I used to use another seasoning, but they kind of went up, so that's why I use McCormick's because it's a little cheaper. Plus, it seems like they have a little more natural spice and ingredients in there. So
cool. One of the things my dad would, when we had tacos as a kid, one of the things he would always cook with the tacos was hominy.
don't know what that is. I never used anything like that.
It's basically a form of corn. I don't know how to describe it. My dad would always cook hominy in a very unique way. He would fry it with like cooking oil or something, and it's basically like I guess the best way to describe it, it's like soft popcorn, but it's not. It's because it's a corn-based product. I don't know how to describe hominy, or maybe, but no, I really. Tacos are always good. I guess with your YouTube channel, what, somebody who's just starting out on YouTube that maybe has like, let's say 20 subscribers, what advice would you give them? Because you're at what now?
I think last I saw was at 390.
Yeah.
Like that.
So what advice would you give somebody who's just starting out, who has maybe like 20 some subscribers?
Well, I don't know if I'm the best person to give advice, but I'll just say this: just keep at it. Maybe interact with some people that have a higher sub count that can at least get you plugged in and likes and respects your stuff and knows that you have a passion for it and have a passion for films, and just that you have some kind of drive and an ambition, and you just don't give up. And I guess that's the best advice that I can give for someone like that.
I think that's the best advice too. I mean, mainly just keep at it, and I would say
trying at it,
yeah. The big thing is also just collaborations, and hasn't worked out the best for me sometimes. One of the best I would do was just try to be especially when you interact with people in the chat, always try to be the funny guy in the chat. But that, and that's it. Just keep going, and I guess also just look at YouTube as granted, yeah, I'm trying to turn my YouTube channel into a media company, but always learn to, I guess, have fun with YouTube. YouTube is mainly meant to be fun, but you could still build a following with YouTube. I guess, Eric, do you want to add anything? What advice would you, what advice would you give somebody, since you have a lot more subscribers than both of us?
I noticed this. He doesn't even have his avatar on there, so I don't know what's going on.
Oh, he's probably busy. But no, I mean, that's something that definitely I would agree with. To just keep at it, and especially with me, I just kept at it, and like I said, I always wanted merchandise, and because I just thought that would be cool to have, and I kept at it. I wanted to more call local companies rather than going through mainly some of the other big merchandise companies, and this is a local company that I have selling my merchandise, and I'm overall proud of it. Junebug Films, right now it's just a logo, but definitely eventually there's going to be more designs coming, and I would even say that Scotty, that's something you could do. Call some local T-shirt companies in the area. If you want retro Scotty merchandise,
Right.
Because come on, it would be kind of nice to, definitely, get some extra income too. So.
Yeah, of course.
So what, and a lot of times, I've been asking this question, but, what do you think, just of, movie, I think you've kind of hinted at it, especially on your channel, but, what do you think is why do you think movies has just kind of lost their way? Let's just word it that way.
Well, I guess you don't really have as much passion behind it. You have screenwriters that really seem like they don't know what they're doing, or they're just trying to force an agenda. They're just not really putting
right.
forth,
We want to,
or if they try to tackle a franchise, it seems like they don't really do their research on it, or they want to input their own ideas that think that work, but really they end up not working as well as they.
I want to stress that agendas have always been a part of movies in some way, but it's more how you do it. You should put your story first ahead of your agenda.
Yeah.
If
you want to do an agenda that means something that's maybe important, but if it's part of the story, that could be something to go about. But if you're just trying to force an agenda down our throats and the audience, they're not going to take to that too well.
Right. And I'm going to use an example. Like, for instance, this is arguable, but I think let me let me explain this. Like Dirty Harry, for instance, is a pretty agenda-driven movie, but at least they put their story and everything, and you make Dirty Harry an actual character. You show this, like this evolution of this villain who is like using the media against against Dirty Harry and everything, and it shows how like this guy's not a nice guy, but also shows Dirty Harry's not exactly the nicest guy, but Dirty Harry does what he has to do, maybe not necessarily something that police officers should do, but they address that in the movie. So Dirty Harry, I think, is a good example of agenda movie, but the story is also good. If that makes sense.
Right.
So, but I mean, so I guess what's with your YouTube channel. Though, I mean, you definitely have had your selection of names. I guess, what's one of the reasons why you changed it? I mean, because Open-Minded Movie Man was kind of or Open-Minded Movie, Scotty or whatever it was. I can't exactly remember now. You just said it about 21 minutes ago. But what made you change your YouTube names, I guess,
I don't know. I felt like maybe Open-Minded Movie Man was a bit too long, so I just, changed it to retro because it references, everything, 80s, certainly, aspects of the 90s, and it has like a nice kind of futuristic appeal to it. And I kind of like, sometimes, as much as I like listening to like rock and roll and alternative, I like listening to some of the synthwave stuff. Like if you ever go to this channel called New Retro Rave, he would have some stuff on there, or even the Prime. What was this? Let me find it. It's the Prime Thanatos or something. That's sometimes I'll listen to stuff by. Sometimes I'll go to that channel. They'll have some retro 80s kind of feel synthwave to it. So yeah.
Yeah. I don't. Anyway, folks, for those in the chat, or for those who watch this afterwards, I don't know what's going on with Eric. I don't know if he is having internet problems or what, but I mean,
I'm right here. I was trying to answer your question about my story with YouTube, but I'm guessing that you guys just didn't hear me.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was blank. It was black. So yeah.
Oh, okay. So anyways, sorry about that. So my story with YouTube is that I remember that I struggled hard at first. Like I remember when I would put a video up on YouTube, it would get no views. Then I was working my tail off trying to get subscribers. And I remember everybody would constantly be criticizing my videos, saying how awful they were. But, I kept on trying.
Right.
And then,
I mean,
and look at where I'm at now. I'm now at almost 2,000 subscribers. Granted, it's not as much as like PewDiePie or something like that, but still, I still have quite the following. And now that I'm actually making movies now, that count's probably going to be going up.
Yeah, and I mean, look, as you've said before,
Sorry, phone's ringing. So give me a second.
It's okay.
Yeah, as you've said before, come on, they're on strike, but as you say, they're not going to be on strike forever. You have a chance to get into SAG.
And that's huge in of itself. And I now have the connections with Sarah Karloff and with Jim Carrey and with Kane Hodder.
Right, and then that's one of the great things about doing these interviews is you could have more connections too. While Scotty's on the phone here, the next interview on the 18th is with Steve Alton, the author of The Meg. So, you have those, you're going to have those connections, and me as well. And, that's it, as I say in the industry, it's about who you know. So, I mean, who knows, Eric? Maybe if Steve really likes you, you could adapt one of his books.
Oh, definitely, yeah. Definitely.
You gotta read them first, though, right? But no, I mean, the Steve Alton interview, folks. I mean, that's mainly for me, but I it's better to interview people, I think, with a co-host. I mean, with Scotty, like I could have done it solo, but I appreciate the fact that Eric's here. Um, but it's better to interview somebody while you have a partner, I think, personally.
Yeah, definitely.
And but Scott, I mean, with Steve Alton though, he's one of my favorite authors, and unfortunately, I can't interview my other two, my number two and number one. I mean, I can't interview J.R.R. Tolkien. I mean, author of Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit, obviously, and I can't interview Michael Crichton. So,
I mean, it would be great, but I guess the closest that you can get is like a relative.
right. Anyway, Scotty's back. Darn people can't stop calling you, huh?
Well, it was just my mom. She was just calling to check up on me. So I haven't talked to
Oh,
her, I guess, for I think it's been at least a week or so. But I guess
all
she
right.
was concerned because she was making sure I'm okay because the situation that happened with my father months back. So yeah,
Yeah. You don't have to get into that.
right.
But let me just say this. Is it safe to say let's just say he's going through some health issues, and we'll leave it at that, right?
Right.
Okay. But you, you definitely have. I guess one of the things that you have to deal with on YouTube and everything, and you always seem to have like a very good attitude about things. What advice would you give to also people who, you know, I guess I'm trying to think of a way to word this. Who, I mean, you literally lived up to your original title, open-minded movie man. Um, I guess how do you always keep that open mind, especially with YouTube and how people seem to make videos or I guess people just being dumb sometimes, I guess like you know I mean, I've seen it on your streams before, like where people you know were just dumb in the comments. I mean, I guess he doesn't have his YouTube name anymore, but you know the crow's nest or something. How do you always seem to keep that open mind? You don't always seem like a very angry person or anything like that. Would you say it's just the way you were raised or what?
Mm, I guess so, but I guess I just also realize I have to stay positive even through the tough times, and I just realize that I can't let anybody like that try to get me down. Otherwise, they pretty much win, and I just really don't want to dwell on the past and just live in hate because it's like poison, and you just almost start to always be hateful and spiteful towards individuals, and I don't have time for that. I just want to move forward and just keep going.
Right.
That's
No,
what I
I
would do.
mean that's the one thing that I've one of my mottos is don't look at what people did yesterday, look at what they do in the future.
Yeah, just pretty much live in the past and aim for the future.
Right. Eric, is there anything you want to add? Are we still having internet issues, Eric?
Yeah, I'm not really sure what's going on, but yeah, sorry about that. But yeah, I don't think I have anything to add.
Yeah, okay. So you really lived up to that title, though, open-minded movie man. I would say because you always have this like. That's one of the things like I actually kind of admire about your channel a little bit is that like yeah, there has been drama on it. Let's face it, like every channel, but
Right.
you always just seem to have this nice attitude, with it. Um, I guess you know what? Let's see. What's one movie that maybe your viewers would be surprised you liked? You like?
Hmm. It's gonna be another tough one. Let's see. What are they gonna be surprised that I like? Hmm.
I mean, you're usually pretty honest with what you like and what you don't like. So,
Which is
but
the way how it should be. Because if you're not going to be honest, then what's the point?
Right.
right. Um.
One thing that I hate about YouTube, it's like how like that with some YouTubers, it feels like you're walking on eggshells whenever it comes to your opinion about a movie. And really, if anyone's going to be offended by your opinion over a movie, then that's just petty.
Oh yeah, exactly. Like, I mean, I mean, exactly. I mean, so anyway, no, I mean, if you, I mean, but that's the thing is, you've always been pretty open about what you like and don't like, and I guess like more like I guess, like I don't know, like I guess more the question would be like if you like a musical or something like you're like really you like that movie something.
I think it might involve like a particular romantic type of movie. Even though I'm not exactly a huge fan of that genre, but there might have been a few that I liked. But I'm trying to think of one. I would. I mean, I already did a review of it, but I don't know. I don't. That's not surprising because it's not just filled with romance. It's got adventure. It's that you can say that maybe Romance in the Stone, but I could have swore there might have been other. I'm trying to think of another one that maybe people think that I would.
um yeah, well you mentioned romance movies. I mean, one of the things that like one of the movies I like, it's Sweet Home Alabama. I like that movie mainly because I mean, okay, first of all, it has Reese Witherspoon, and I like Reese Witherspoon for a multitude of reasons. Um, I like her as an actress, first of all, and yes, she is very pretty, and I like her southern accent. So, and I like that movie. I mean, because Fred Ward is in it playing Reese Witherspoon's dad. I like that movie quite a bit. I mean, so yeah, no, I mean it's fine to so, but no, Romancing the Stone. I mean, I think a lot of people like that movie, but no, I mean, hey, if I mean, if there's any romance movies that you like, I mean, that's a great thing about movies is there's so many genres that you can choose what you like and what you don't like, and so.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think of the one that would be the most surprising. I would say that maybe it's somewhere. Well, I'm trying to. I'm trying to think. Would you say that most people would like, let's say, some kind of wonderful or
I mean,
Dirty Dancing? Well, I guess people would like those, or Overboard, but that seems like a very popular one. That's one. You know what? I think I'll say this. Somewhere in Time. I actually own that movie.
that's a very good movie. I would say underrated too, but it's just weird because those movies weren't exactly popular, and I think that's one of the reasons why it just didn't, get there. I guess. But Eric, same question. You've always been pretty honest what you like and what you don't like. What's a
Yep.
movie that you're? What was that?
Yeah. When he said about me being honest about what movies I do and do like, I was saying, yep, I certainly am.
Yeah, and so what's one movie that your subscribers would be surprised you like?
Excuse me. I guess some might be surprised that I like Titanic.
I mean, I do like Titanic. I just have a weird thing with it. Okay, I think it's just the way Kate Winslet portrays herself. Kate Winslet comes off as a woman, and Leonardo DiCaprio, I think, is too baby faced for that role. Does that make sense?
Well, at that time, yeah. But wait, now that I realize it, I actually did make some videos about the Titanic ship itself, so maybe that won't be surprising. So,
Well,
maybe
no,
I
I
should
mean,
come on
I
that.
mean, I think you mainly made more movies about the history of Titanic. But no, I do like Titanic. I just wish that they would have gotten some of their original choices for Jack. Like
Like
I
Christian,
know even Christian Bale at that time would have been too baby faced and too young. Like Matthew McConaughey was considered. Now, this might surprise people, but you guys know who, you guys do know this, who James Cameron wanted to play Jack.
who?
Brendan Fraser.
Interesting.
I can see it.
I can see it too.
And honestly, I'm going to go as far to say this. I think it would have been better if they got Brendan Fraser and Jack and Kate Winslet. And you guys know who originally he wanted to play Cal?
Who?
Yeah,
Pierce Brosnan.
That would have been a good choice.
Yeah. But he was too busy filming Tomorrow Never Dies at the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I can understand that, that it's a franchise movie, like that was helping him pay, those bills and all that. So,
well, he definitely would have gotten a pretty good paycheck with Titanic.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, he would have gotten an even better paycheck like doing Titanic.
Right. And but no, I do like Titanic.
Yeah,
I mean,
before Avatar, Titanic was the highest grossing film of all time for a long time.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess another movie people will be surprised that I like. I like that chick flick, like with Jack Nicholson. I believe it's called Something's Gotta Give.
yeah, I like that. I like that movie.
I haven't fully watched it or seen it, so
I haven't seen it in a really long time. Not since I was in elementary school, but
It is a very it's a very good movie, I would say. No, like, and that's a great thing about movies. Like, I mean, let's face it, all of us have our favorite genre. Like, I mean, my favorite genre is the Hollywood epic,
and mine definitely would be horror films, but yet, The Lion King also is one of my favorite movies, and that's clearly not a horror film. So,
right. And Scotty, I think it's safe to say that your favorite genre is probably action, right?
action, sci-fi. I think I can throw another film in the nomination for maybe my fifth. But technically, it would be in the top 10. I would say Blade Runner. I figured I'd throw that in.
Which
Blade
cut?
Runner. Speaking of Blade Runner, did you ever watch the sequel?
Yes, I really enjoyed the sequel. It's actually one of my top favorite films of 2017, and John Wick Chapter 2 was my number one. Then Blade Runner 2049.
I've only seen John Wick Chapter 1. I've never seen the sequels.
The sequels are good. I know it's controversial, but for whatever reason, I actually liked the fourth one.
Yeah, it was definitely enjoyable, even if I felt like it kind of went on for too long, but still.
Yeah.
But there's another film that I just now I you know what, I'm going to add another film that many people think that I wouldn't like. The Razor's Edge with Bill Murray.
I like the original better, but yeah.
I understand why Bill Murray did it. He wanted to show that he could be versatile, and it was a passion project of his. He wanted to actually do something different than what he was known for. And so,
yeah, which I've been going through the same thing with my filmmaking journey. The only movies I've made so far are comedies, and that's why I eventually would love to do a horror film.
horror film, like what would be a good influence? Are we talking about recently, or like old school, or
So,
combination of both?
so because the Boris Karloff and Bela Lugosi, Dracula, and Frankenstein movies will be public domain in 2026. Me and Junebug have talked about doing Dracula versus the Frankenstein monster, and we're talking about having it be a legacy sequel to the original Karloff and Lugosi movies. So yeah, and so yeah, I am definitely really, really excited to make that movie.
Yeah, sorry about that, folks who watch this in the future. My cats decided to. They decided to get into a hissy fit with each other.
Uh-oh.
Oh no.
And I think they're okay. It's just how cats are. Cats are just like people. Sometimes they say the wrong thing, and cats get triggered. So
Yeah,
but,
definitely. And
I mean,
yeah, and then eventually I would like to make like a more really dark and gritty horror film, like something kind of like in the realm of Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Now, when I say that, I don't mean that shitty reboot they did a year ago, and I don't mean the remake. Although I don't mind the remake, but I'm talking about the original by Toby Hooper.
I mean, I always thought it would be an interesting idea to film a Friday the 13th movie in that style, that sort of grindhouse style.
I can see that.
Because, like, here's my thing. Like, here's how I would at least tell a director to shoot a Friday the 13th movie. First of all, buy the cheapest camera you can find on Amazon. Now I mean, like, okay, not cheap as in like the $20 like crappy video cameras, but at least one that can shoot decent, like maybe say $50. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I can see that.
And then shoot
so long to finally make a new movie, but with all the legal bullshit, I can understand why.
Yeah, and again, it's one of those things with Friday the 13th that it's. I don't know. I don't think it's gonna. I don't think we're going to be looking at one until at least 2000. I'm going to say this. I'm going to go as far to say I'm going to be surprised. I think we're going to get one probably for its 50th anniversary.
It's a real missed opportunity by the fact that we didn't get a new movie in 2013, and you can probably imagine why.
Right.
To have a Friday the 13th movie come out in 2013, that would have been perfect.
Exactly.
What a missed opportunity that was. But hey, at least that we got the documentary in 2013.
Yeah, no. I guess, Scotty, let's see.
So I have a question for Scotty. What is his opinion on the recent trend in filmmaking about taking childhood beloved icons and turning them into horror films?
Childhood icons and turning into horror films.
Like Winnie the Pooh.
When they turned the Grinch into a horror film with the mean one, and and they also turned Winnie the Pooh into a horror film.
What was the one that before Winnie the Pooh?
The Grinch.
The Grinch.
Yep. Are you not aware they made those?
Well, I heard about the Winnie the Pooh one. I guess I must have forgotten about the Grinch. When did this one come out?
It came out in December of last year. It came out in theaters, but it was a very limited release, and because of that, I didn't get to see it in theaters. But from what I heard, they're gonna put it on. They're gonna put it like on streaming services in October of this year. So,
like they're even talking about doing a Bambi horror movie.
And they're also going to be doing a Peter Pan one as well. And I've also heard that there's going to be a crossover with like Peter Pan, Bambi, and Winnie the Pooh.
Yep. So what is your thoughts about that?
I don't know. I guess I'm indifferent about it, but as long as they somehow get a good storyline behind it, get a good capable actor of carrying the weight of the film, then maybe it could work. I mean, I did see Violent Night last year, and I thought it was a pretty decent flick for what it was.
Yeah, it was
know?
like pretty much was like Die Hard meets Santa Claus.
Mm-hmm.
I did like that one.
I did too.
I had an interesting idea for a Santa Claus movie as well. And you could do this, but I'm surprised that nobody has ever thought of this. Santa Claus versus Krampus.
Yeah, I'm surprised that no one has done that.
Well, the only movie we came close to, and they kind of ruined it, but it was about a mall. They acted like it was Santa Claus at the North Pole going, going to be fighting Krampus, but then they ruined it. That the big twist was Santa Claus. It was a mall Santa that went crazy.
Okay, now that's disappointing. But yeah, I know Santa Claus is public domain, but Krampus, I'm pretty sure, is public domain as well.
Yeah, Krampus is myth folklore, like in the 1600s.
So because of that, I think that right there, like, it actually gives filmmakers the opportunity, like that. Yeah, you certainly should do like a legit Santa versus Krampus movie.
Exactly. Like,
that reminds me. Is Retro Scotty a fan of the Silent Night, Deadly Night movies at all?
I haven't seen all of them. I just know of the second one and the
Garbage Day.
The garbage day. Yeah, I haven't forgotten that scene.
Oh man. I remember back in high school, me and my friends would watch that scene on repeat, and we would laugh so hard every time.
You know what I find so funny about the Silent Night, Deadly Night movies? It proves that money talks. Mickey Rooney complained about the first movie, and then yet he is in the fifth one, right?
Yeah, and Rambo Rap for Life even commented saying how much Mickey Rooney is such a hypocrite while I like for doing that.
Well, hey, money talks, right?
Yeah, and
I wonder what his thoughts on the sequel is after the first one. Does he have any genuine thoughts on that?
I don't know if he ever said. He probably complained about it so much that they just sit there and said, "Hey, Mickey Rooney, we'll pay you this much money. You want to be in the second one or the fifth one?" It's like, okay, sure. But come on. I mean, here's my thing. If any of us complained about a movie so much, and then all of a sudden they sit there and say, "Hey, here's this much money. Would you be in the sequel?" Like, you know what? If they pay me enough money and the check clears, I'm not going to lie. Yeah, sure. I'll do the sequel. I think all of us would admit that, right?
I think, yeah.
So,
I know that whenever I do get around to reviewing it, I'm definitely going to be discussing Deep Rising at some point. I was going to try to do it last week, but for whatever reason, I just couldn't seem to do it. When I started recording, it seems like I have reviewer's block, if there is such a thing, because I haven't done a review in over a year and a half.
I mean, that's the thing is, like, I never felt I was that good at reviewing movies because, like, there are some movies I just like them, and I can't explain why. There's some movies that are just so, yes, by definition, they're bad movies, but I can't explain why I like them. Like, I just get fun enjoyment out of them, and I never really thought that was proper reviewing, so, yeah, I don't know. But no, you should review Deep Rising. I do enjoy that movie. It rest in peace, Treat Williams. So wow.
Yeah, from what I understood, I think the guy that hit him, he was just convicted. I think like a week ago or so. I forget how long his sentencing is, but
I mean, if it was an accident, worst case scenario, he's probably going to get at least. It was an app. Now, listen, I want to stress that, like, yes, it. I mean, first of all, I think they should definitely change the name because it's considered manslaughter, which manslaughter sounds worse than murder. I mean, because come on, let's think about that for a second. This is a joke, people. Oh, it's okay. He just murdered somebody. And then you sit there and see, no. And then you sit there and say another crime. He slaughtered somebody. It's like, what the? What, did Jason Voorhees come in? Yeah, but no, sorry, I'm making a bad joke about a crime. But no, in worst case scenario, he's going to get manslaughter and probably serve maybe 90 days or at least a year. I'm not sure. Kind of depends on the laws. But what about that whole thing with that little kid rapper who died? Did you guys hear about this?
I didn't hear about that. That's news to me.
Yeah.
There was this little kid rapper who died, but now they're saying that he's alive. It's like a weird story right now going on. Like, what happened? Okay, it was like this little rapper. Like, I never heard of him. He's like 14 years old, but they said that he died. I'm like, what? Okay. But now they're saying today that he's alive. Like, he was on Entertainment Tonight, people paying tribute to him and everything, and like, what? But they're all saying that it was a stupid troll on his Instagram that hacked him and said that he died.
Wow, I didn't hear anything about that, so that's all news to me.
Yeah, no, I only heard about it like yesterday. Like, I mean, it's sad when anybody dies, but especially a child. This kid was 14, and then, then you hear that they're alive, and I'm like, what the heck? I mean, first of all, the guy who did that, I mean, there's a special place for you in the underworld because you hacked a child's Instagram account to say that they died. I mean, how evil do you have to be? You know what I'm saying?
How low can you go on that?
Well, hold on, Scotty. Didn't you guys on your here? There's a question for you. I never understood the whole thing. Didn't you have a guy who you know through YouTube who faked his own death or something?
Well, I didn't really know him, but I heard about it, and I thought that was kind of fucked up to do all that.
Like, what was that story really?
I don't know. I think he was just trying to evade tax, something tax related. I guess I don't know.
Like,
it's been a long time. I'm okay. I even remember any semblance of that.
Well, I just remember coming in at that stream, and then like you were talking to me about it, I'm like, what? Wait, what? So, yeah, no, I mean, there's definitely some interesting, just people out there. I mean, here's the funny thing, like, I think it kind of helped growing up in the middle of nowhere in Kansas, because I'm only learning about some of the stuff with the internet now. Like I'm learning about the stuff with Chris Chan.
Yeah, Chris Chan. Oh man, he is infamous, and
like
he makes other Sonic fans like me look bad.
Well, like, I'm only learning about him now, because I grew up in the middle of nowhere in Kansas. I mean, and I had better things to do besides look up stuff on the internet. Like I had to feed. I grew up on a farm, so horses had to get fed. Cattle.
Did you find out about him because of me?
You, a little bit, and Ryan, or sorry, Tyranno. Sorry.
Tyrannotherium.
Yep, sorry. Oops. Sorry, Tyranno, if you watched it, slip of the tongue. But yeah, it's just one of those things that, like, I heard about him recently, like, and then one of them that I heard about recently that I was like, wow. Okay. for the people who watch my videos who are, I do know there are some, like, you can't control it. I do know there are some children who watch my videos, so I'm going to say earmuffs. I only recently heard about one video, Mr. Hands. Have you guys heard about that one?
No, I haven't.
It was a guy who, it was one of those videos in the late 2000s about a guy who, let's just say, got it on with a horse.
That's disgusting.
Yeah, but the guy died.
I think
Yeah.
I
Did he
think
die
I know
just
why.
did he die a disgusting person, or did he die a happy person? But I guess it really doesn't matter.
He died because he had a ruptured rectum. So I recently heard about
Maybe
that
he had
one.
too much fun with that horse. So who knows what kind of activities he decided.
Well, he was really horsing around. But no,
Yes, he was horsing
but no, here, Scotty. Here's a question for you. I guess. Do you think that the internet has made people dumber, or do you think people have always been dumb and the internet has just exposed the dumb people?
I don't know. Maybe a little bit of both.
Eric, what do you think about that? And that's not controversial,
Well,
We're just
coming
asking.
from somebody who made a movie about people who deny the existence of dinosaurs, I think the internet has both been a blessing and a curse.
Yeah.
It has been a blessing because it's helped people to connect with people, but it's also been a curse because it's given people a platform to spread misinformation.
Yeah, I would say this. I think the internet, I think that people have always been dumb, but I think that the internet kind of has contributed to making people dumber in a way, just because there's a reason why I think at least the US is considered one of the dumbest countries in the world. And in some ways I do blame the internet for that, but it's just one of those things that it's sometimes you hear stuff on the news and we're not getting we're just talking, people. This is not controversial or anything like that. We're just talking. You hear stuff that on the news and you're like, wait, why? Like at the 4th of July every year, how many stories do you hear about somebody who was dumb with fireworks? You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
There was one guy who he died because he lit a fountain on his head. What do you expect's gonna happen, dude? I know some people have even blamed Jackass for stuff like that, which I guess I could kind of see, but I don't know.
I do advise not to perform any of those stunts, but what they do. It's not right, no one's forcing them to do it, but they decide to do it anyway because I guess maybe
right. But that's the thing.
They think they can just have their 15 minutes of fame. They'll be lucky if they're alive, or they don't lose any kind of body parts or limbs or anything.
Right? Isn't that what they want? Oh well, it's okay. I just went to the hospital. I didn't lose a finger or something. But no, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I feel like an old man saying it, but in some ways, I do think that, and but I mean, I enjoy watching them as much as the next people. And Eric, you've done them. You've done some tame ones on your YouTube channel. You've done pranks and everything like that, but I guess in some ways the prank channels, it's like some of them, like, I enjoy watching them for for a good laugh, but like some of them are just like, wow.
But yeah, Junebug, you said I did some tame what? Sorry.
Pranks on your YouTube channel.
Yeah, I did. Like, I did a few prank calls, and I also did one prank where I was at the drive-thru and I was wearing like a Batman mask. Basically, it was inspired by. Did you guys ever see like this channel where he would do like an invisible driver at like the drive-thru?
Yeah, I've seen stuff like that.
That was hilarious. And basically, me and she was my friend at that time. Sadly, not anymore. But yeah, we were inspired by like those prank drive-thru videos, and we wanted to do something similar. So that's why we came up with the Batman one.
Yeah. I mean, so I enjoy watching them mainly just for giggles, but like some of them, I'm like, that's the other thing with YouTube. Like some people just want to be the next, prankster on YouTube or something like that, and like one of them that I will admit that I find very funny to do. And listen, I've joked about talking about doing this, but like, I would never do this because, first of all, I don't want to get my butt kicked. Have you guys seen the pranks where people sit there and they knock on the stall? They say, hey man, I'm out of toilet paper. Can I have some? Just put it under the stall. And so you basically, the idea of the prank is you get toilet paper. They give you toilet paper under the stall, and then you put Nutella on their hand.
Wow.
I never saw anything like that. No.
Well, no, I watched it mainly just because my buddy. Okay, I was hanging out with my buddy, and two words that a few words that you should never say. We were hanging out with each other, and we were bored on the internet. And so we were watching that stuff, and we're like, man. I mean, first of all, I'm not gonna lie. If somebody did that to me, I'd be like, dude, what the heck? You just, I mean, Eric, what would your reaction be if somebody did that to you?
If somebody did what to me? Sorry.
They put, you're in the stall in the bathroom. Somebody's sister says, "Hey, I'm out of toilet paper." You hand them toilet paper, and then they put Nutella on your hand.
Yeah. I would be like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah. And Scotty, I'm pretty sure your reaction would be pretty similar. So.
Yeah, more or less. The only thing prank related that I ever really watched was or really listened to was probably the soundboard prank calls when they used Schwarzenegger's voice. So those were always funny.
Those are funny. Didn't you do a Howard Stern prank or something on your channel too, Eric? With your prank calls?
Yeah. I haven't done prank call videos in a while because back in the day, I would prank call under restricted and I would use soundboards. But, people don't really answer phone calls under restricted anymore. I can understand why, but then afterwards I would use a website called Prank Dial, but none of my friends really would ever answer those anymore. So that's pretty much the reason why I stopped doing the prank call videos. Did you ever see any of my prank call videos?
I do remember watching some of them. I just more remember that, and plus, Eric, I mean, you're 30 years old. I think you're we're 30 years old. And I mean, Scotty, Scotty's a few years older than us. And I think we're all just too old to do prank calls now. So
yeah, definitely. And that's one of the reasons why I stopped doing prank call videos. Because I'm like, really? If I'm still going to be prank calling people at the age of 30, really?
Right.
Yeah.
So
it's understandable when you're in your youth and everything, but after a while, it probably gets repetitive, and you're thinking, there's got to be more to life than just this, right?
I mean, I will admit it. I still do the terrorizing telemarketers thing on YouTube. Well, I'm not on YouTube. I would do it on YouTube if I could record myself doing it, but I mean, but my philosophy with those telemarketers, if they're going to waste my time, I'm going to waste their time. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Um,
I remember when I don't know if it was a scammer or just a telemarketer, probably one or the other, but I pretended to have a southern voice, and I just pretended I was. My name was James, and I told this lady she had a lovely voice, and I had, so yeah.
I did. One of them that I did. It was a dude. Okay, so let me say this. I said, he sits there. He said, "Hey, can I ask you for a question?" I said, "Okay, toots." And he sits there. He sits there and said, "Dude, don't call me that." I said, "Okay, sugar lips." And I started flirting with him. And he sits there and says, and he sits there, "Dude, stop." And he starts yelling at me, and I sit there, just continue to flirt with him. And he sits there and then he proceeded to call me the F word that you don't call people.
So what'd you end up doing in the end? Did you just continue to do it, or you just hung up on him?
I said, I like it when you talk dirty. And I just continued with him, and he sits there and he hung up on me. So, and then one of them I've done before where the guy sits there. So can you please repeat the number on your card? I said, "Where is that number?" And he sits there, "Sir, please repeat the number." And I said, "Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, so on and so on." And he sits there and says, "Are you an idiot?" And I said, and I made an autism joke because I'm autistic. I said, no, I just have autism." And he sits there, "Oh." And he sits there, "I'm sorry, I didn't mean to offend you," and everything. And I told him that, I told him, "Okay, well, I'm gonna go, can I?" He just was very apologetic, and I was more just laughing at him because it's like, dude, come on. I got one of them to curse me out. What's the real funny thing? I told him I did his question. I was giving very blunt answers, like just the dumbest answers. And he had me repeat this code. And I sit there and says, "I got it." And he says, "Sir, I need you to repeat the code." I told him, "I got it." And he said, "Sir, please repeat the code," and so on and so on. I said, and that's when I realized it wasn't going to go anywhere. I told him to take me off the list. And he sits there, "Why did you have me go through the entire survey?" I said, "For my own entertainment, because you're wasting my time." And he sits there, "Fuck you, asshole." And he starts screaming at me, and I'm just like, "Hey, you're not supposed to be cursing at your loyal customers." He sits there, and then he said, "Fuck you, dickweed," and click. So no, I mean, for me, it's just funny. Like even today, I got a couple of them, and it was for breast cancer for women, and that's when I said, "Hey, men can get booby cancer too." And they clicked on me, and then one of them was for donations for firemen, and then that's when I started talking like Beavis. I said, "Fire, fire, fire." So no, I mean that's something that, I mean, I'll still do occasionally. I'll just do the terrorizing telemarketer thing. Like, I mean, Eric, I mean, I'm pretty sure you do some stuff similar when you get telemarketer calls on your phone. So
yeah, there was one time where one of them was trying to ask me for my social security number, and what I said was, "Yeah, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6," and then they got frustrated and they're like, "No, your real social security number." And I was like, "What are you talking about? That is my real one."
right. One of them. Well, one of them, he was trying to sell me magazines, and I sit there and says, "Do you guys have Penthouse or Playboy?" He sits there, no, but I have your mom right here. Like, and I said, really? Because I have your mom right here with me, and she is, man, we're having some nice fun under the desk. Would you like to join us? And he sits there. You're going to make a your mom joke? I said, well, you made the your mom joke first before I made a joke about your mom. And he sits there. He sits there, said, well, my mom is 80 years old. I said, yeah, I know your mom's a cougar. And he sits there, and he just hangs up on me. Recently, I've gotten some about bathroom remodeling. I said, man, I could really use a new bathroom because right now there's no toilet. There's just the hole.
And that's really ironic because of your cameo in my second movie.
I know, which is funny if you've known my YouTube channel for entirety of last year, basically, where when I did do reviews, it was more just my special, as I call them, toilet reviews, because I just flush a toilet and then I sit there and say, there you go, there's my review of blank movie. Which I will admit are funny videos to do, because but yet no. Then one of my, but no, I think we got it's amazing how many telemarketer calls you get sometimes, and sometimes they come sporadically, but no, it's fun to just mess with them because let's see, one of them I wanted to confirm my number, and I said, well, what's your number, baby? And it was a chick, and she sits there, she sits there 8. I said, is that what size you're? Because I do like my big girls. And she just, oh my gosh. So no, I mean, it is so hilarious to just mess with them. I mean, I got Scotty. I mean, besides doing the Southern accent, have you ever, what else have you done to mess with them?
Well, not really. If it's a number that I'm not familiar with, I actually just don't answer and I ignore it. So
yeah,
I mean, if they were back when I worked for my dad, if they were calling the shop and if it's a number I didn't recognize, I might pretend to have an accent and all this other stuff. But I rarely did that.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I mean, I still do that. I still do that because, I mean, first of all, it's just funny to do because, I mean, the Beavis and Butthead one was funny today just because they were asking for donations for firemen and all that stuff. And I just sit there, did the fire.
That's
fire. Funny. And, they hung up on me. Which that's usually what they do now. Like if you make fun of them, they just hang up on you. Because I think there's been an increase of people doing that now with Jim Florentine just terrorizing telemarketers but yeah, no, I guess, before we get too late here for all of us, and because we're going on about an hour and 13 minutes, and I don't want to have to have a bunch of storage issues on this phone after recording this. I guess, I do have, I mean, if anybody I'll just wrap it up here. But, I have, if anybody wants my merchandise, link down below in the comments. For the next interview, I'll Sit Down by the Fire. We're going to be interviewing Steve Alton. One of the things we are going to be doing, if you guys want to ask Steve Alton a question, you are more than welcome to leave a comment down below on what you want to ask Steve. And Eric and I will do questions from said person by Sit Down by the Fire. I'll actually started a new series on my YouTube channel that's going to be coming out every Thursday. It's a game me and my family play. It's called the Chat Pack. So I'll be asking a question from the Chat Pack. you so you guys can just answer it or make a video response if you really want to. Eric, is there anything you want to plug?
Well, I'm making my new movie, filming it right now. That's slated to come out either December of this year or next year. Some more episodes of Let's Watch a Movie. It's a series of mine where I will stream public domain movies. And I want to plug that I'm doing a rant on the Little Mermaid remake this year by Disney. I hated that movie. Matter of fact, I'll go as far as saying that was the worst movie of the entire year. I'll go that far in saying that.
Right, and if you're gonna leave comments about it because of who they casted as the Little Mermaid, please just keep your comments to yourself.
Yeah, and I'll just say this: that's not the reason why that I thought the movie sucked. The movie sucked not because they cast a black girl as Ariel, but just the movie itself was just a pile of pig vomit.
Yeah, and listen, I mean, it's not. Again,
it's not the Howard Stern, yeah.
Yeah, and listen, it's not a race. When we complain about this stuff, listen, it is not a race thing; it's a culture thing. Mermaids come from English mythology, and so a lot of people in England at the time mermaids existed and were created, it was white people. Okay, so it's not a race thing, it's a culture thing. Okay? So if you are going to do that, leave comments that are just, calling Eric unnecessary names.
Or give out your ridiculous pitchforks and your tough guy attitude. Yeah.
Yeah. No. I'm just going to delete your comments. Honestly, I have no problem doing that. So anyway, Scotty, is there anything you want to plug on your channel?
Yeah. For those who are not subbed or who are curious, feel free to check out what I've done. I plan on doing a review of the Deep Rising film. Hopefully soon, just when I, get back on that horse and, get on that grind again. But feel free to look at the other stuff I produce, because I do talk about a particular sports team, like the Cowboys, for example. But
go Broncos.
Yes, but go Cowboys. But we all know that you always claim that the Cowboys always need a Bronco, right?
Yep. But hey, come on. The only good thing about the Cowboys is their cheerleaders.
Well, you can at least admit they have a few good players, on defense, and Michael Parsons and defensive coordinator Dan Quinn.
Yeah, because the Broncos, even as much as a fan I am, I can admit that they suck. They suck right now.
Right.
Yeah. So
I also do live streams too. Whether it be casual or the last live stream I did was relating to the Indiana Jones film, the new one. So there you have it.
I'm so sorry.
There'll be movie discussions and hangout discussions, but feel free to come in and chime in if you like. As long as you keep a real solid attitude and not this toxic attitude. If it's what it is, I have no time for that bullshit, and I don't want you around because I got no time for that. like certain other people. And by the way, if Rice Man is still around, I would say he's welcome too, because come on, Rice Man was at least a troll, but he was a cool troll. Yeah, I think his name was Felipe too.
All right.
So basically, he's a troll that's similar to Kenny Horners, and Kenny's a troll and he's a Poe, but at least he is a cool type.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, that was pretty much Rice Man. And by the way, remember, the only reason that he's called Rice Man is because he's talking about the size of his package.
Yeah. Or what he wants to stick his package in. So yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, so go check out Scotty's channel. I'll have him if he wants to. Once this is uploaded, I will send it to him unlisted, and he can leave a link to his channel too. So, but no, definitely check out Scotty. He's a really cool guy, especially if you like, guys like Rambo Raft for Life, OSP Communications, the Italian Stallion 51. He has that sort of vibe. It's just kind of like, like you're sitting down kind of in his living room, and he's discussing a movie with you, is kind of what I like about your guys' stuff. And, Scotty's a really cool guy. So go check out his channel.
Thanks, Ty. I appreciate it.
No problem.
Oh, of course. Have a fantastic day, and thank you for joining us.
See you guys later.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it. And you too as well, Ty.
Yeah.